Crimson Trace announces Laser Guard Pro for today's most popular concealed carry firearms, combining a red or green laser sight with 150 lumen light, taking personal defense to the next level. Available now at your local dealer.
The #1 national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
All righty, back with you. Tom Gresham here, visiting with Ray Oeltjen, who is my impromptu and forced co-host for this. And Ray, this is simply a continuation of what we've been doing for the last 24 hours, which is simply talking about guns.
Yes, and it's fun.
Not much different, right? We just people say, well, how do you guys talk about guns for 3 hours? You go,
oh,
3 hours, really?
How can you quit it after 3 hours?
How can you stop at 3 hours? Exactly. This is what we do. By the way, if you'd like to join us, the number is 866-TALK-GUN. I love this email I just got from Kurt. He says, a reminder, he says, the Republican Senate needs, with quotes around it, needs to pass something like they feel like they have to. So when you call, maybe what we should do is tell them, look, add on, if you got to pass something, how about national reciprocity for your carry permit? Just like your driver's license, it's good anywhere. And also, while you're at it, let's remove all the restrictions for sound suppressors, for mufflers, for guns, which is actually a health issue, which will save your hearing. He says, well, of course, if you put those two in, then the president's going to veto it, which is, of course, the point. It's kind of playing that game. Well, I don't know. Thinking about, and I do want to talk a little bit about hunting when we get to that in just a minute, but we have a few calls here, Ray. Let's take some of these and we can talk. Line 4, Robert's with us out of California. Hey, Robert, what are you looking at here?
Hey, Tom, first off, happy Father's Day.
Absolutely.
I have go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I got a Kimber. I carry a Kimber as my everyday carry. It's the 3-inch barrel, so it's a smaller gun. Mm-hmm. Now, I know you've always said, or I recall you always saying that a faster bullet is better as far as feet per second because it'll expand for the hollow points.
Well, you do need a certain amount of velocity to make a hollow point expand, right, Ray?
Yes.
Okay.
But?
Well,
there are more dynamics involved. There are a lot of bullets that are made to shoot at a somewhat lower velocity and still perform extremely well. And a lot of the bullets we have out today are just so far superior to what it used to be 20 years ago or even 10 years ago.
So they're actually able to expand at lower velocity. So, Robert, what are you thinking? You're looking for ammo for your 45?
I'm looking for ammo, and I was wondering, is the standard 45 round, which is around 860 feet per second, is that sufficient enough to expand, or should I look for something that's got a little more behind it?
Well, remember, that's the velocity with a 230-grain bullet. If it were me, it's just me now, if it were me shooting a 3-inch barrel 45, I would probably be looking for a 185-grain bullet. Ray, you're over here nodding. Yes. And trying to, and you get the additional velocity by going to the lighter bullet. And because, trust me, the difference between a 5 and a 3-inch barrel actually is significant in velocity loss. You're looking at maybe 100, 150 feet per second. And that may be just enough with some bullet designs to not get the expansion that you're looking for. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it does sound right. But again, I go back to the newer bullets that are designed. There are 185-grain bullets that are more effective than...
True. Yeah, we just have better ammo all around. If it were me, Robert, I would probably be looking for an expanding 185-grain bullet. And there actually are companies now that are they're making loads, and they say they're designed for short barrel pistols. So they're going to have a bullet that works with a lower velocity, and they're also going to try to pump up the velocity a little bit.
Yes, and the composition of the bullet and the way it's configured as far as the expansion capacity of it is changed dramatically.
Absolutely. And for those who don't know, go ahead, Robert.
I was looking at the Winchester. They make a 185 grain silver tip hollow point, and it's got 1,000 feet per second. So maybe something along them lines.
On the face of it, that sounds decent. I tell you what I would do. I would look for the best defensive load I could find. If it costs $2 a round, it doesn't matter. You're not going to shoot a lot of them. You're going to shoot like one magazine's worth of those through your gun to make sure they function. And then find something that is specifically designed for self-defense, as opposed to just like a white box or even something that says silver tip on it. I would find, whether it's Winchester or Remington or, Hornady. Look, Barnes has good ammo. Black Hills has great ammo. Double tap ammo is stunning. It's so darn good. He has specific loads for that kind of thing. If you go to doubletapammo.com, really good stuff. But I would buy the very best. Remember, this is a parachute. This is the thing that you use when everything else has failed and you are about to die. And I don't care if it costs $2 a round or $200 a round. If it stops the problem, it's worth every penny.
Yes, and one more quick thing. I live in Southern California. I am very interested in getting some additional training. Is there any place that you can recommend?
Well, I'm not sure. I know there are places in Southern California. I have two thoughts for you. One is not very far from you over in Arizona is Gunsight, which is the grandfather, the Harvard of gunfighting schools. Highly, highly recommended. Gunsite, gunsight.com. But if that doesn't work for you, go on the website calguns.net, calguns.net, and you can ask there, and you'll find people who are local in California who will know where the good shooting schools are there.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Good deal. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate the call. Good questions, Ray. To your point, you've been in the ammo game for many, many years. Huge changes.
Huge. Incredible. And as I said, the configuration of the bullet and the properties of the bullet we've come so far in that and so the velocity doesn't have the same.
It's not quite as critical as it used to be.
Not quite as critical as it used to be, exactly. And its bullet configuration accuracy has improved dramatically. To get factory ammo today, factory quality ammo today, you used to have to reload for it.
Right, true.
And it's not true anymore. And so I think your advice was spot on.
Well, the other thing that's happened is following the big debacle, the Miami shootout with the FBI, they adopted a protocol for testing handgun ammo for self-defense for FBI agents. And now many of the ammo companies will say our handgun ammunition meets the FBI protocol, which is a tough protocol because it also involves shooting through glass, which is a terrible medium. It tears up bullets like crazy.
Yes, and and glass often refers to windshields, which are slanted.
Right.
And so that deflects.
Exactly right. So if you get any ammo that meets the FBI protocols, I think you're good to go. Also, if it's up to me, I know you don't need more velocity, but I like more velocity.
Oh, yeah, you always want. Yes.
I want to hit him as hard as I can.
Yes.
Because the only reason that you pull the gun out and you're shooting somebody is because he's trying to kill you or somebody you love. And at that point, you want to stop them from doing what they're doing in the next nanosecond if possible.
But never sacrifice velocity for bullet dynamics.
Exactly right. All right, Mark, Chad, Jeff, don't go anywhere. We're going to get to you. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. I'm visiting with Ray Oeltjen, my co-host for the day, having some fun here.
Yes,
and I'm Tom Gresham, so give us a holler, 866-TALK-GUN.
At Double Tap Ammunition, we hand inspect every round that we make, and we use only the best components to give you the best ammunition on the market. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
What's important in a gun safe? Security, reliability, safety, good looks? It all comes down to quality. Quality that's built in from the beginning. Liberty Safe has made quality products for 29 years right here in the USA. Trust your guns, your valuables, and your safety to Liberty Safe. Did you ever regret buying quality? I didn't think so. Get the best. Whatever your budget, get a Liberty Safe. LibertySafe.com.
Hardcore tactical professionals who put their lives on the line every day depend on Surefire. For decades, Surefire has built the first and finest professional-grade flashlights, weapon-mounted lights, hearing protection, and suppressors. We build the best because lives depend on it. And we know failure is not an option. We design, engineer, and manufacture Surefire products right here in the U.S. For you, for your loved ones, Surefire. American built, American strong. Surefire.com.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
Accurate, powerful, consistent. At Double Tap Ammunition, we offer 364 loads in 83 calibers that give you exactly what you've been looking for. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
No. Isn't this interesting? I'm looking at online, the New York Times, an editorial. There's a lot of talk this week about using the no-fly list as a gun ban list. And this editorial in the New York Times says the no-fly list is unconstitutional. The federal government's no-fly list, which prevents those suspected of terror ties from boarding flights in the United States or flying through American airspace, is reported to include more than 20,000 names. We know the list is higher than that. It goes on to talk about how this is simply unconstitutional. Oh, wait. This is in the New York Times from 2014. So in 2014, they thought the no-fly list was unconstitutional. In 2016, they think it's a great thing. And if you're on this secret list put together by secret people in a secret agency where you're not allowed to know how you get on, how you get off, or what it is the criteria are, that you should be able to be stripped of your constitutional rights. What happened? Oh, I know. When it came about guns, they were for the list, Ray. When it was about their rights, they were against it.
Yes, exactly. It's a whole different ballgame now for them.
Sure.
And they like it. If it takes guns away, good.
That's right. Anything that got... And I want to make sure people do understand.
Remember, guns are bad, so the people that own them are bad, which gives you the right for the greater good of mankind to do whatever you want to do, whether it's legal or not.
I'm afraid you're suffering from recoil-induced PTSD. Perhaps. That could be true. Who knows? Oh, my gosh. Oh, God. Let's see. Mark is in. Let me make sure here. Benny is in on line 3 out of Corpus Christi. Hey, Benny, you're on Gun Talk.
Hey. Howdy, Tom, and a happy Father's Day to you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You know, a moment ago we had the gentleman call in with a 3-inch barrel timber, and you mentioned quite a good list of ammunition for him, but the one that I didn't hear was your Federal 165 grain low recoil cartridges.
Aha!
Yes, sir.
That's actually a pretty nice load. Ray's giving you 2 thumbs up over here, Ray. You like that load?
Well, yes, I do.
Well, 2 thumbs up. I'm liking that. This makes it a really special Father's Day for me.
Yeah, what you've got is a 165 grain bullet, which is going to give you less recoil, faster recovery times, and if you can still push it fast enough to do everything that needs to be done. You know, it's a great point, Benny. I appreciate you bringing it up. Thank you for that. Ray, it goes to your point of we simply have better and better ammunition now than we've ever had before.
Yes, there's no comparison to even 10 years ago. There's so much more knowledge and so much more science that has gone into building these bullets.
Was it the competition that has driven this?
Of course, and demand and competition. The mother of invention is necessity.
Right.
And
when another company starts to build something, then, and for those who don't know, just how competitive is the ammunition business?
Oh, my goodness. You can't even imagine. You can't imagine how competitive that business is. And if you don't have an incredibly good product and incredibly good sales programs and an incredibly good distribution channel, you just forget it. You're out of business.
You might as well just not even show up.
No, exactly. I can't describe how competitive that market is.
They are battling for that last point of market share.
And the majority of the shooters out there today look at ammunition as a commodity.
Mm-hmm.
A 22 is a 22. A 12 gauge is a 12 gauge. But now that's not the same anymore.
Right.
So you're getting people that are becoming much more astute, much more knowledgeable, especially people looking for self-defense.
It's a good point. We have much more knowledgeable consumers of ammunition than we've had in the past.
Yes.
And an ammo company that doesn't cater to that just simply is not going to be around.
No, and that's driving the inventions. And
and we have all this great ammo that we've never had before. It's I've told people before, go buy a box of Black Hills 223 or 308. If your rifle won't shoot with that, get a new rifle.
Yeah, there you go.
Because it shoots as well as and better than most people's hand loads that they could possibly make.
Well, and not to promote my old company that I still have some emotional ties to.
Right.
But when Federal came out with a premium ammunition,
right,
in about 1980,
I remember that.
It completely revolutionized centerfire ammunition and shot shell ammunition.
They put hand-loading bullets in factory ammunition,
exactly.
Right? That was the big change.
And the copper-plated shot, they buffered shot,
right,
in shot shells.
In fact, I'm looking at 2 rounds just across the way here. 20-gauge 3-inch Magnum with number 4 copper-plated shot with
buffer.
Yes. What a load.
Not in my house, though. What are you talking about?
You would never have that here. No, of course not. Okay. Let's talk to Chad. He's on line 2 out of Medford, Oregon, to keep it in the state. Hey, Chad.
Hey, Tom. I was glad to hear you talking about the no-fly, no-buy conversation that's going on right now, because should for some reason anything get pushed through with all the media propaganda that's going on right now, our American public is under assault right now from the media, to include even conservatives like Bill O'Reilly. He on the other night he said on his show
he's not a conservative.
that Americans have the right to own a firearm, but not necessarily carry one. Bill O'Reilly said that on Fox News the other night, and he's been pretty bad throughout the week. Eventually, if they do pass something through, all of us gun owners will be the terrorists in the government, in the media's eyes. No.
And let me just say this about Bill O'Reilly. I have angered some of my friends, some of my listeners here. Bill O'Reilly is an idiot. Bill O'Reilly is a big bully, and he has never been a conservative. He's not a conservative. He's on the quasi-conservative Fox network, which is almost conservative, but not quite. But to put any stock in anything that this guy says is crazy. Can't stand to listen to him. He's condescending in his delivery.
Exactly. One other quick thing I wanted to bring up was a lot of the push on the media is military style or military inspired. The AR-15 came from the military. Well, if you want to go by that definition, they can throw out Winchester M70s. They can throw out Ruger M77, anything with a Mauser-style action. All of our hunting rifles, every single Glock pistol, 1911s, they were all designed for military purposes.
Sure.
Glock with the Austrian Army. This is a snowball that could be huge.
I know what you're saying. And look, go even further back than that. Let's see, single-shot rifles, that's what Custer had, trapdoor Springfield. So single-shot rifles, then lever-action rifles, right, Ray?
All right.
So all of these were essentially guns new actions and styles get developed for military use because that's where the money is.
How about Jeeps?
Jeeps, that's right. Those came out of military too.
Nobody'd buy a Jeep anymore.
That's right. So, yeah, the whole military style, which is saying, well, let's ban something on the basis of not does or how it's used, but its style, or it was originally designed for. That makes no sense, but it does sound scary, and therein lies the value. If you're a gun banner or if you're a media person who supports a gun ban, and you have this condescending attitude, and Bill O'Reilly has never supported gun rights.
Nope.
Never. He gives you this, well, of course you have a right to own a gun, but gun bans are okay too. Which, of course, you're going, wait, what did he just say? He said, wait, gun bans are okay, but we have a right to own guns? The whole, you have a right to own a gun is a way of saying, now don't get mad at me, but I do think that we ought to take away some of your guns. It's like the people say, well, President Obama doesn't want to take away all your guns. Never said he wanted to take away all of them. But if you want to take away any of them, that does make you, by definition, a gun banner.
Yes, it does.
So, I mean, Ray, I tell you what, let's hold this. When we come back, we're going to have to hit a break here and don't have enough time. I want to make sure we get into something here, which is a skill set that people need. And you talked about this. Not only do each of us needs to get involved, not just involved, we need to be committed in terms of talking to politicians, talking to the media, writing letters, showing up, wherever you need to show up, whether it's a school board meeting, a city council meeting, the state legislature, or wherever. But we also all need to develop our skills at communication, right?
Exactly. Because every day we're out in society where there are a certain number of anti-gunners around, and anti-hunters.
Right. Or people who just don't know any better.
People who just don't know any better. Mm-hmm. And we need to learn the skills to address that in a professional, discreet, and gentlemanly manner.
And by doing that, you're doing the conversions one person at a time. And if each of us converts 2 people, we win.
That's a big
simple as that. If each of us convinces 2 people, we win.
Yeah.
Done deal.
Don't by yelling at them.
Not by yelling at them. Exactly right. Tell you what, we'll talk about that when we come back. 866-TALK-GUN.
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. With Ray Oeltjen here. We got Maestro Jim Kinsey on the board, and Ray, you never knew how much fun this was, so you got to hear the backstory during the breaks here.
This is all right.
There's stuff that goes on back here that people just wouldn't believe.
No, and you shouldn't tell them.
That's true. That's right, because we do want to stay on the air, so I think. So one of the things you do, I wanted you to talk about this, is you love it when you get seated next to somebody on the airliner and they're trapped. They can't get away from you. I mean, it's like you got them for however long the flight is. Tell me about that.
Well, it's better than watching a movie. It's far more entertaining, especially if they're really anti-gun or anti-hunting.
Okay.
I made a pledge to myself 25 years ago, well, longer ago than that, probably 30 years ago, because I was practically living on an airplane. And it occurred to me just by accident in a chance conversation once that you do have a captive audience, and they can't scream and yell at you. They have to be relatively civilized. There are some exceptions, but it has had a dramatic effect, and I equate it to practicing and shooting. The more you practice at it, the better you get.
Okay, sure. Yeah, because the first time you do it, you may not be all that effective at making your argument, but you hone it, you practice it.
Yes, and so many people that are on the gun side have a tendency to get very frustrated because they're passionate about it, and they yell at people.
Okay.
And they say, you're an idiot or something like that. And so then you just have lost the argument. So you suggested that one of the conversations that I had on a plane with a gentleman who was a professor, and seemed like a nice guy, and he talked to me a lot about his wife and kids, and I mentioned that I was coming back from a hunt, and he grimaced at that, and I said, "Do you not care for hunting?" And he said, "No, it's fine." He said, "My father hunted, but he said, I hate guns. I despise guns. I'll never let a gun in my house." And I said, "Well, let me ask you something." I said, "You just told me about your wonderful family. What do you do in a scenario where someone breaks into your house? What's the first thing you do?" He said, "I call the police." And I said, "Well, I'm sorry, that doesn't seem to make any sense." He said, "Why doesn't that make sense?" I said, "Because you said you don't allow a gun in your house, and the gun is coming in first. And
in the hands of the policeman.
In the hands of a policeman. And you just said you don't allow that." He said, "Well, that's different. They're trained." I said, "Well, let's change the topic completely." I said, "Do you happen to own a car?" And he looks at me rather strangely, and he said, "Of course." I said, "I bet your wife has a car, and you drive to work, your wife drives to work, takes the kids to school, all that." And he said, "Yes." I said, "Well, cars are statistically far more dangerous connected with a household than a firearm. Check it out." And I said, "Police are trained to drive very safely. They go through extensive driver training. As you say, they do firearms training. So why, using your logic, I'm only using your logic, why wouldn't you have the police drive your kids to school, drive you to work, drive your wife to work? Because they are trained.
They're professionals."
But I said, instead, you choose to learn to drive safely so that you can take your kids to school safely. And I said, it doesn't make any sense. And he was pretty hung up about that. And we went on with this conversation for some time. And I said, "You know, God gave you those children. Are your children aware that as their father, that you have no intention of defending them? You're going to call a total stranger to bring a gun to your house to protect them?" And that hung him up a bit. He was a bit frustrated by that.
But I noticed that you're asking questions the whole time.
That's the best way to do it. Ask them sensible questions that are difficult for them to answer.
Okay.
And I said, "Could you point out to me one place in the history of the world where taking guns away from citizens has lowered the crime rate?" He said, "Of course, that's easy." He said, "England." I said, "Great." I said, "England has double the violent crime rate we do." He said, "I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a minute." I said, "The fact that you don't believe it has no bearing on whether it's true or not." I said, "I don't believe the sun comes up in the east, but everybody tells me it does." I said, "I bet you've got a computer, you can look it up." And he mentioned several other countries, and I went through the same thing.
Right.
And then I brought up Switzerland, where virtually every household has a gun, and the crime rate is practically zero.
Right.
So at the end of all of this, I'll cut it short, we exchanged cards. We're still friends because he couldn't yell at me. And the next day, he sent me an email that the subject line said, "You have ruined my life."
You have ruined my life?
I opened it up, and he said, "My wife and I sat up till 2:30 this morning discussing our topic." He said, "We have decided to take your advice, get extensive, in capital letters, extensive training, and we're both going to get concealed carry permits." And then in letters at about 16 or 18 type, said, "I am going to protect my own family."
Wow.
I just said, wow.
Wow.
But it happens often.
Wow. That's it. There you go, Ray. That's how you get it done. You are my hero on that. Let's take a quick break here. We'll come back and get your thoughts on that. What do you think about Ray's approach? Is that something you could do? 866-TALK-GUN.
Bigfoot gun belts, made with legendary leather and quality craftsmanship, are built to support the full weight of even the heaviest handgun. With a spring steel core embedded between two layers of rich English bridle leather, you'll never deal with a sagging belt ever again. Each gun belt is handmade with the blood, sweat, and beards of dedicated, skilled Pacific Northwest belt makers. Capture your gun belt for as low as $54.88 at BigfootGunBelts.com.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at ShopGunTalk.com. Get prepared. ShopGunTalk.com.
The Ruger American Rimfire Rifle combines features of the Ruger American Rifle and innovations of the 1022 Rimfire Rifle to appeal to all bolt-action enthusiasts. It features a modular stock system that provides comb height options for scope or iron sight use, a power bedding integral bedding block system for outstanding accuracy, a Ruger Marksman adjustable trigger, and a 1022 style rotary magazine for reliable feeding. The Ruger American Rimfire Rifle, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
Hi, I'm Tom Gresham. For more than 40 years, I've been watching an environmental disaster in my backyard, and it actually impacts all sportsmen in America. I'm talking about the massive loss of land on the Louisiana coastline. The U.S. Geological Survey said the swamps and marshes of coastal Louisiana are among the nation's most fragile and valuable wetlands. That land is disappearing. The Mississippi River Delta hosts as many as 10 million ducks and geese every winter. These are birds which migrate northward through the states, all the way to Canada. The wetlands of the Delta support some of America's best fresh and saltwater fishing. And here's the deal. The wetlands of the Mississippi River Delta are disappearing at a rate of 1 football field every hour. 1 football field every hour. Gone. We can reconnect the river with its wetlands and restore the Delta, but we need your help. Please visit vanishingparadise.org. That's vanishingparadise.org.
Here at silencershop.com, we normally focus on making the world a quieter place. Not today. Rule 41F takes effect soon, making silencer ownership more complicated. The good news is silencershop.com can help, but don't delay. Purchase any in-stock silencer by July 6th, and Silencer Shop guarantees to get your Form 4 submitted and execute your transfer before deadline under current rules, or give you $100. The Powered by Silencer Shop guarantee. Details and restrictions at silencershop.com.
I was thinking about this push by President Obama and Hillary Clinton that if some unknown agency puts you on some unknown list, the terror watch list, the no-fly list, whatever it is, that you would be stripped of your rights to own a gun, to buy a gun. And it occurred to me that there have actually been members of Congress who have said the NRA is a terrorist organization, Ray, so that could they not put all members of the NRA on the terror watch list?
Well, that's probably why there are so many terrorist attacks during NRA shows, as we just recently had.
Or not.
Or not. In the last, I don't know how far back you want to go, but in every single city that there's an NRA show, where you have 60, this year we had 80,000 people show up, the crime rate drops to 0. The violent crime rate in the inner city, wherever an NRA show is, drops to nothing. And I've heard this from police.
It just happened in Louisville. I just saw the report on that.
Yeah. It goes to nothing. So how can that possibly be with all those crazy gun people around, and the violence goes to 0 instead of through the roof, as politicians would like you to
what we
believe.
should do as a public service? We should have the NRA show in Chicago.
Absolutely. That would save hundreds of lives.
There you go. I'm liking it. So, holy cow. Let's see here. I wanted to get, line 4, Tyler is in Georgia. Speaking of the list. Hey, Tyler. 4 is Michael now. Okay. Let's go pick up Michael 4.
Hey, Tom,
Michael.
I got a question about maybe how we were looking at active shooter situations. The current procedures, I guess you want to call it that, is you have an active shooter, you preferably escape, and then you hide, and then in the worst case scenario, you try to fend for if it comes to that. But if you had a situation like Orlando where people were to commit themselves 100%, 300 to 1, you would remove a lot of the advantages, I would think, from firearms. I mean, you see a lot of that stuff parallel in airplanes nowadays. You sneeze wrong on an airplane, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Nobody's going to hijack an airplane now. The people are not going out. They're going to rush.
I think a lot of the active shooter protocols right now are probably the most advantageous to a shooter.
Yeah, exactly, Michael. I know what you're talking about. The whole idea is that you have to have people who are willing, who've thought about it, who've said, I'm not going to just cower in the corner and hope. I've said this many times, and I'm not sure that people fully understand, but Hope will get you killed. Because people are saying, oh, yeah, you got to have hope. No, hope will get you killed. Oh, I hope nobody breaks in. Oh, I hope he doesn't come over here. Oh, I hope he doesn't punch me when he gets... Ray, you go through this whole scenario of, I hope this doesn't happen. I hope that... Hope will flat out just get you killed.
Hope is not a strategy.
Yeah.
Hope is not a strategy. And it's an interesting topic that you brought up. That in Israel, I have a good friend that actually I hired at Leupold years ago, who he and his wife live in Israel, and there was just and they teach the populace, they grill it into them through all sorts of media to attack the attacker. The whole group attacks the attacker, and just
you swarm the attacker.
Yes, swarm him. And just recently, there was another case of it where a Palestinian terrorist attacked a mob, and he only got a couple shots off because the whole mob dove on top of him and killed him. And it does work.
It does work, but you have to have people who are willing. Now, here's the other thing. Out of, statistically, Florida has, 1.2 million people with carry permits. So roughly almost 10% of the population.
Right.
Statistically, if there are 350 people in this nightclub, 35 of them have concealed carry permits. But they are prohibited from carrying in the bar. Right? If you had 35 people in this place and they all had guns, I think
be 3 dead.
There would have been, you can't say nobody would have gotten killed, but I think we could say probably the body count would have been less.
Oh, I mean, logic tells you it would be considerably less.
Yes, exactly right. So it's hardware a little bit, but most of self-defense is not hardware.
No.
Most of it is the software. It's the mindset. It's the willingness to do what needs to be done.
Situational awareness.
Being aware. Where's the exit? And the question is, do I fight or do I run? I don't know. Depends on where you are. Depends on what's going on. Depends on who you have with you. If you have your kids, your grandkids with you, maybe today's not the day you decide to fight. Maybe the days you grab them up and you run and get out of there and just get to a safe place. I can't answer that. I'm not going to judge anybody on that, one way or the other.
Well, you can't. But the fact remains that armed resistance stops crime.
It just does.
Yes.
There's actually a Department of Justice study that says that if you are attacked in a criminal attack, you are half as likely to be injured if you resist with a gun as if you offer no resistance at all. So, and people say, well, just give them what they want. Well, sometimes what they want is to hurt you.
Yes.
Because there are sociopaths everywhere. And we're raising more and more of them because we have people who grew up in an inner city where by the time they were 2, they were starting to be beaten. They were beaten regularly the whole time. They have no empathy for anybody or anything. And they will hurt you or kill you, not because they don't like you. It's just because they don't see you as anything.
It's the only life they've known.
It's the only life they've known. Can't fix it. You got to deal with it, and that's the reality of it. So what do? Well, you just say, okay, I'm not going to let that happen to me. You have to say, I'm not going to be a victim.
Well, according to John Lott, who's a great researcher, the number one violent crime, the most precipitous drop in violent crime is rape once they pass a concealed carry law. And it starts happening about 6 months after the concealed carry law goes in, rape starts to drop.
Yeah, exactly right. Tell you what, we'll be right back with more gun talk. Oh, we're not. I thought we were there. I thought Jim said we were just about out. Okay, so we do have a little bit more time. All right. So yeah, exactly right. In rape, when a rapist or potential rapist knows that women are armed, they just don't.
They go somewhere else.
Yeah, they just go somewhere else. They just don't. And it goes back to what one of our earlier callers said. It's not enough to be armed and to get the training. You have to let everybody know this is what has happened.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, I mean, I remember Florida put up some billboards one time that said, X number of women have been trained. And when they did that, then the rapes went down. I think that's that study you're talking about with John Lott.
Yes.
There you go. Okay, this time we actually will be back with more gun talk. All right, back with you here. Let's go straight to line 2. Elliot's with us out of Fresno, California. Hey, Elliot, what are you looking for?
I'm looking to get a 1911 45 caliber. I used to have a Rock Island Armory. I liked it. It shot straight. I was kind of wondering which manufacturer you recommended.
Boy, that's a tough question. I don't think anybody actually knows how many companies now, Ray, are making 1911s. They're everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how many companies are making them right now.
Elliot, here's the real question is how much are you budgeting for this? How much do you want to spend?
I would love to not spend $1,000.
Okay, I tell you what, under $1,000 gets you a lot of good options. This is going to actually become more personal preference than anything. You may have a manufacturer that you have a feeling about. You say, well, I've always liked Rugers. Ruger makes a great 1911. I've always liked Smith & Wesson. Smith & Wesson makes great 1911s. Colt makes great 1911s. Springfield Armory makes great 1911s. Kimbers are terrific. You may have to shop hard to find you an under $1,000 one, but I'm sure you can. If you will keep, especially street price, at that somewhere between $900 and $1,000, you can get a really good 1911, can't you, Ray?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you're right. There are so many extraordinarily well-built 1911s out there today.
And don't cheap out. Get you the one you want. Now, you're looking for Target or for Carry?
Carry.
For Carry. All right. Lots of good options. You may want to go with a 4-inch barrel as opposed to a 5-inch out there. And get one that's set up with the right sights, the kind of a molded, not sharp edges on it. Get a Carry gun. If you find, okay, gee, I can get one for $850, good. Spend the other $150 on ammo. And then go out and shoot it a bunch. There's almost no way to make a bad choice, is there?
Well, no, I would add that get the right front sights.
Yeah.
That's unbelievably important.
Right. So shop carefully. Go look at a lot of them. I particularly like if you could put thin grips on it. I think everybody, they feel better with thin grips, but you're going to have a lot of fun. And like I say, the great news here is there's no bad choice. Yeah. If you spend somewhere in that $900 to $1,000, you're going to get a great pistol. And I appreciate the call, sir. Good luck with that. Ray, I want to thank you for letting us hang out at your place and co-hosting today. This was fun.
Oh, it's been a riot. It always is a lot of fun with you, Tom, and it's great to have you here.
Oh, this is great, and we're going to do some after show after this. So those that have not heard the after show, you're going to go download that. Easiest way, frankly, easy to find the after show is make sure you have the Gun Dealio app on your smartphone. I was driving around Kalispell the last few days. That thing was going off everywhere I went because there are gun stores everywhere. Yeah. It's Montana, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, what do you expect?
You got to love it, Oh, I love this. Jim says, well, for under $1,000, he can get a third of a Les Bear. Huh.
There you
go. There you go. It's always somebody with an answer out there. So where are you off to next? You got any hunts planned?
Well, I have to go up to Canada shortly to visit with a client who's also a good friend, and we're going to have some fun.
You're going to go maybe hunt a little something, this or that, or something?
It might be something like a coyote.
Could be a coyote in the offing there. You never know. So
you know my problem with coyotes.
Yeah, that's right. He's got a mat on for coyotes. Probably the best coyote hunter I know of.
I don't know.
You shot a couple of them, though.
I shot 2 or 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
1,000.
1,000, he says. Oh, okay. All righty. Ray Oeltjen, my good buddy here. Tell you what, if you get a chance, check us out on the after show. I think you'll enjoy that. In the meantime, make the full-bore commitment to get involved in the politics of this. We don't want to be talking about burying guns. We want to stop it now. Call your senators' offices today. They're voting tomorrow. Call them today and simply say, no more gun laws. It's a really simple message, and only you can do this. We're all in this together.